Good day and welcome. In this explainer, we're going to dive into a case study about an Australian tech firm, Arctiq, and how they completely re-engineered their development process. We're going to break down how they tackled a massive, and I mean really common challenge, and ended up boosting their engineering velocity in a big way. So, let's get right into it.
But first, I've got a question for you. Just think about your own team for a second. Where does its collective brain actually live? I mean, really? Is all that knowledge neatly tucked away in a shared drive? Or, if we're being honest, is it kind of scattered across a million different Slack channels, private notes, and worst of all, just rattling around inside a few key people's heads?
And that question leads us straight to what we call the knowledge problem. It's a huge issue for pretty much any growing company. It's that feeling, where your team's absolute best ideas, their cleverest solutions, all those hard-won lessons, they're basically invisible right when you need them the most. It's so frustrating.
Now, there's a name for this, and it's tribal knowledge. This is all that vital context and know-how that isn't written down where everyone can find it. You know what happens, right? A key developer leaves, and all that knowledge just walks straight out the door with them. That creates a massive risk and, well, it slows everybody else down to a crawl.
Okay, so this brings us to our case study, Arctiq. Now, these guys operate in the really high-stakes world of software development. Speed and security are absolutely everything. And they had a realization. They didn't just need a better filing cabinet for their info. They needed a central nervous system for their entire engineering team. So let's paint a picture of the situation they were in. Their intelligence was totally fragmented. You had developers using a whole bunch of different AI tools, which meant they had this costly and messy tool sprawl. And here's the really worrying bit. Sensitive company code was ending up on platforms they couldn't even manage. That tribal knowledge we were just talking about, it was just drifting away, leading to really slow onboarding for new hires and constant project delays. I bet some of that sounds a bit familiar, eh?
So Arctiq's leadership laid down a really clear task. They needed to create one single place for all their development intelligence. That meant centralizing access to the latest AI models, making sure resource sharing and team chat were secure, and, this is the big one, improving their engineering velocity. That's the speed they can ship quality code. And they had to do all of that while making sure their data governance was rock solid.
So the big question is, how on earth did they pull it off? Well, they deployed Leo, which is an AI collaboration platform, and they did it with a super focused 3-step playbook. Let's break down exactly how that worked.
Right, here's the playbook. Step 1, they unified all their AI access. They got rid of all those different subscriptions and got everyone onto one single, secure platform. Simple. Step 2, they moved all their technical chats and discussions into a collaborative space, and crucially, that space was searchable. And third, they set up role-aware governance. This meant sensitive data was locked down tight, and only the right people could see it. And this really gets to the heart of the change for them. By centralizing everything, all those brilliant solutions, those handy code snippets, those really successful AI prompts, they weren't getting lost in private DMs anymore. Instead, they were being saved into a structured knowledge hub, building up this amazing, reusable library of the team's best work.
Okay, so let's get to the important part. Did it actually work? This is where it gets really interesting because the results were measurable, and Arctiq saw a massive shift in their speed and their efficiency.
Right, check this out. The key metric they looked at is called diff authoring time, or DAT. All that really means is the time an engineer spends actually writing and landing code. By slashing the time people spent just asking around for info, Arctiq saw their productivity improve between 14% and a massive 33%. I mean, that is an absolute game changer.
And think about what that means when you scale it up. Across the whole team, over a whole year, you're not just saving a few minutes here and there. You are talking about saving thousands of hours. That's thousands of hours of precious developer time that can now be spent building awesome products instead of just chasing down answers.
So let's just look at the before and after snapshot because it's pretty stark. They went from fragmented tools to one consolidated platform. They went from knowledge being lost forever to knowledge being retained and reused. New hires went from a slow, painful onboarding process to actually contributing from day one. And those high overheads, they were slashed just by getting rid of that tool sprawl.
So let's zoom out for a second and talk about what made this so powerful. What really is the Leo difference? Well, it all boils down to this idea of creating a shared company brain.
And I just love this analogy from the source material. It's like giving your entire team a shared high-speed neural network. Suddenly, instead of every developer working away in their own little silo, they're all plugged into this collective intelligence that remembers every single solution and secures every single secret.
And here's why it works so well in practice. Leo is security first, which means a company's sensitive data stays right where it belongs, in their own infrastructure. It's role-aware, so the answers you get are tailored to who you are and what you're allowed to see. It's execution-focused, so it actively guides people to the right, approved processes. And maybe most importantly, it's actually built to be used. It's fast, it's clear, and it's genuinely helpful.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? After seeing the thousands of hours that Arctiq managed to save, it really makes you stop and ask, in your own organization, what is the true cost, the hidden cost, of just asking around? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me.